Here at the heart of Brussels and the NATO and EU capital, here Günther Fellinger from Pax Europiana, I call for WTO enlargement. You see, globalization is working. I call Mr. Karas, the Austrian Vice President of European Parliament. Globalization is good. Nobody needs to protect Europeans from globalization. Look, this square is an amazing experiment and fortification symbol of globalization. This nation, Belgium, and this city, Brussels, has been so rich because of globalization, already international globalization in the 17th and 18th century. And of course, today we don't need to be protected because we are rich because of globalization. Globalization, the term, of course, is the victory in the Cold War, the opening of all of the world, besides maybe North Korea, Cuba, and Russia. To the world during the last 30 years, and of course we need more globalization after the fall of Russia. We need the victory of Ukraine and we need the defeat of Russia, and of course globalization is something very good. What we need of course now is the enlargement of the WTO to the countries which are dear for me and for European interest, and there's other countries as well in the world which should not be in the WTO, like Syria, a terror state, Iran, a terror state. Russia should be expelled from the WTO, it's a terror state. But who should be in? Here very clearly, here's my priorities as Günther Fellinger, and I will fight for them. Kosovo must be in the WTO, it is Serbia in the WTO and Bosnia in the WTO. So these three countries must be together in one big deal, now very fast-tracked into the WTO. Azerbaijan in the WTO, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and of course Lebanon. Lebanon is a country in a big economic crisis. Of course they must be in the WTO. This is very important, and I call for the EU to support it, and the US. Of course Kosovo, of course Serbia, of course Bosnia as part of the peace deal to be in the WTO. That's also a precondition to be in the EU. Let's never forget the EU in its core is a notified trade integration bloc of the WTO, so that's very important, and we need to get this done. And then obviously to counter the Russian influence and the Chinese influence in Central Asia, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan need a free trade agreement with the European Union, and of course to be in the WTO. Turkmenistan is more difficult than Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan the bigger priority. Now we understand that we have to support Central Asia in its independence drive and reorientation towards the West, and we need to do that with trade agreements with all Central Asian countries to break them out of the Eurasian Customs Union, out of the CSTO, and to integrate them into the Western world and the free world. Very important here, WTO for Uzbekistan first and then for Turkmenistan. And of course for Azerbaijan, this energy superpower, it must be treated long-term like Turkey and must be integrated into the West and democratized. And the first step is of course a DCFTA with Azerbaijan and the membership of the WTO as a first step. These are the countries, I repeat, 3 from the Balkans, Azerbaijan from Caucasus, 4, then 2 from Central Asia, 6, and Lebanon, of course, 7. This is my 7 countries which I personally will endorse and support, and I will fight Syria and Iran in the WTO. And this is, I think, there's others like Ethiopia, you know, there's others in Africa. It's about, I made a list of another 5 countries, but I will focus to block Iran and Syria and get this exactly 7 countries. 7 countries. Repeat, Kosovo, Bosnia, Serbia, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan and Lebanon. These are the countries, all Europeans and the European establishment, the European Union and America and everybody from the free world should support. This is a success we can do relatively fast, and we should do relatively fast. And it shows that the success of globalization, of the WTO, of the free trade world, it's symbolized, this is the best symbol I can find. And I will work for it. Brussels is the symbol, the capital of NATO and EU. We must work with our strategic interests, and this is very much to enlarge the free world. We must do the same as well for the OECD, that's also very important, and also to work in the WTO. But this video about WTO enlargement, the defense of globalization, another 30 years of the success of globalization, We brought the world GDP since the fall of the Soviet evil empire from 22 trillion to now 122 to 100, and that was in 30 years. And now we will have another fantastic 30 years after the fall of Russia, which we are preparing from the Grand Place from Brussels. Some last impressions of this beautiful city hall and this amazing market square, and I'm heading to further meetings and to my hotel, and I thank you very much, and please support globalization and the enlargement of the WTO. Bye.